Well, we're back up here at Harvest Lodge in Manitoba. It's going to be opening week of the rifle deer season up here. Expecting a little bit of snow overnight. It's first week of November, and there should be some pretty good deer movement out there. You know, the last time we were here, we saw plenty of deer and some nice bucks, so looking forward to the week ahead.
Well, we're just getting loaded up here this first morning. It already looks like some of the snow's melting. It's kind of a nice day, but it's probably 40 degrees or so, but yeah, first morning, all day sits. Good to get started.
Well, just beautiful out here this morning with the fresh snow. I feel like we've timed this perfectly, but this is the first morning, first sit. And what's really cool about coming up here, you might see more deer in the middle of the day, 11 o'clock in the morning or noon, than the last hour of the day. These deer will move all day up here. So it's all day sits. And yeah, you just never know what's gonna come by. That was pretty cool. Coyote came right down the trail and basically walked right up to us. But other than that, we haven't seen anything yet this morning. It's been pretty quiet, but just kind of a deer you just got to put in your time. Some of the days get pretty long with these all-day sits, but there's just no other way to do it.
Well, it's about 11 o'clock. The sun came out, warming up a little bit. Haven't seen a deer yet, so I'm gonna see if I can get some movement. Try a little bit of rattling here. So I look up and here comes this buck. He's on an all-out run coming down this strip of pasture, and he gets a little bit closer and I can see he's a nice buck, but you know, he walks right in front of the blind 20 yards and you know, he did it right. If that was a big one, this hunt would be over. Well, that worked out. It wasn't a minute after I got done rattling. That thing came running across the field. Nice looking buck. Well, I guess the calling is working. Keep my eyes peeled, see if anything else comes in.
So one of the big things about hunting these big woods like this is we really invest a lot of time in scouting. So we're scouting for 2 weeks before we even have our first hunters come. And you know, we have like our honey holes, our spots that we know are gonna be good, typically from year to year to year. But still, like, the deer will change. They'll, instead of, you know, hitting this trail over here, they're more heavy on this trail that's 100 yards away. And so, you know, we may need to adjust where we'd put a stand, where we'd put a blind. In a scouting routine, you know, we really probably put 80 to 100 man hours in scouting before we even take the first hunter out. And then usually during the day, while you're sitting on your stand, we're out and we're looking for the next spot. Or did deer move from area A to area B, and maybe we really need to have our hunters over here. So we're doing our best to put our hunters in the areas with the highest amount of deer concentration that we can find.
lot of times you can utilize calling throughout the day. You know, not over calling, but every hour, 2 hours, definitely throw some calls out there. You know, grunt tube, snort wheeze, doe bleat definitely works. And then also rattle bag or rattling antlers, just to try to, you know, entice the deer out of the cover. And, you know, because they move so much, you never know when that one call is going to catch the ear of a buck that's passing by. Nice buck. Brush it away. Try grunting to him. He just went around that point. That was a nice buck. He came out of this thick stuff and went straight away from me. Never came back to any calling. Dark horned 8-pointer it looked like. By the time he turned broadside, there was just too many little sticks in the way to get a shot. At least they're up and moving. It's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon right now. Hoping to see a few more here before dark. You know, I think patience is probably the biggest key for hunting timber like this. Is such a vast expanse of areas for deer to be that, you know, we really trust in John and Clayton to put us in these spots because they've done a ton of homework to figure out where to put the stands, where to put the blinds, where these deer historically move during this November time frame when a lot of the deer are starting to filter down from the north to the southern, more farmland type areas. And I tell you what, if we didn't have these guys, I don't think we'd ever see a deer.
Yeah, well, when the guys are out hunting, we're always, as guides, we're always scouting, looking around for new area for the guys to hunt if they don't not successful for the day. We always have backup plans. So when we're scouting, we're looking around for scrape lines, rubs. We hunt a lot of pinch points along big swamps. And big swamps are good, always good to hunt edge lines of the swamps. You never know what you're gonna see. These big swamp bucks are always walking midday for us, looking for beddings, a lot of beddings around. Feeding, for the feed, they're eating a lot of willows and stuff. Yeah, see like this here, the deer, this is good feed for them. They like eating these around here. In the big swamp areas, we don't have fields and stuff, so they like eating the ends off of these red willows.
You know, we joke with this that the lows are low and the highs are high. And so honestly, you know, we had one day where we were hunting where it was 30-mile-an-hour winds. As you could guess, you know, we didn't see a single deer. You know, and so you sit from dark to dark and you're staring at the same trees and the same branches for, you know, 10 hours or whatever it is. And, you know, that happens up here. I mean, that's, you know, just to be real, just to shoot straight. But I think the lure why people come up here and why you sit for 10 hours and not see a deer is because the next day, the next minute, I mean, everything can change in 30 seconds. And, you know, you try to describe that to people that have never done this, you know, yeah, you're gonna have days where you don't see much, and all of a sudden, 30 seconds later, pandemonium.
Well, we're just waiting for it to get daylight.
and ready for an all-day sit. It's been slow so far, but you know, you come up to a camp like this, you kind of have the mentality that, I mean, there's a really good chance that if you just sit for 5 or 6 days, you're going to see and have an opportunity to shoot a really special buck. You know, just these big swamp bucks. They get big deer in this area. And you just have to put in the time and, you know, and not get high, not get low. You know, just keep grinding away and it'll happen.
Well, it's a new day. Wolves are howling in the distance. And I've got quite the view overlooking this huge marsh. Got big timber behind me. Clayton and John are saying they travel these edges. So, be a lot of glass and head on a swivel today, but a little bit warmer, but hoping that the rut will keep these deer kind of active and moving. Can't beat this view here in Manitoba.
One thing that I think is really neat about hunting here in the Canadian wilderness, as compared, like I grew up in Iowa, hunting woodlots, on cornfields, hunting those field edges. A lot of times you get like an inventory, you kind of know what bucks you have. This is very, very different. When you go to my hunting area, there's not another road for another 100 miles to the north. So it's just pure wilderness. There's no fences, there's nothing stopping them. I don't know anything that would stop them from moving 10, 15 miles a day. So we may sit in an area today and not see deer, and then the next day could just be loaded with deer. And they're responding to pressure that they get from predators like wolves. They're responding to a doe and estrus that will bring a buck in from miles and miles and miles away. Every day's exciting. You know, you just enjoy your time out there.
Before you know it, it's already midday and that sun's feeling good. Thinking it's about nap time, but you just have to stay focused and, you know, keep your head on a swivel. And something caught my ear behind me. It sounded like a little twig snap. And I looked back and sure enough, here's a deer coming through the woods behind me. And at first I thought, you know, it's just looks like maybe a decent little buck, you know. And quickly got the binoculars on him and realized it's a little bit bigger than I thought. Deer. It's a buck. It all happened so quick. That buck came behind me, ended up coming out towards the marsh, and I wasn't sure if he was gonna keep heading north and basically not give me a shot, but he turned out into the marsh and went past a couple pine trees, and then he ended up on this knoll, just wide open, perfect broadside. And I'm thinking, that's a good buck. I gotta try to get a shot on him. And the only thing left to do is try to stop him. He's down right there. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? I heard a twig snap behind me here, and I see a deer coming through the woods. I wasn't sure if he was gonna keep going north. He cut out into this opening, and that's what Clayton and John were saying, is that These deer will follow these lines of timber out into the marsh and go from woods to woods. That's exactly what he was doing. I mean, it's noon, it's 45 degrees. Unbelievable. You just got to put in your time. You never know when one of these Manitoba giants is going to come walking by like that. I mean, the rut should be kicking in up here too. You know, just cruising middle of the day. Wow, a little bit unseasonably warm, but that doesn't stop those big bucks from moving around. They got one thing on their mind. What a buck. Let's go get down and check them out. Wow. Well, took off a couple layers of clothes. We'll walk around this marsh here. I think I know where to look for them. Well, this is about where I shot him. See the stand right there? There he is. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Wow. What a stud. Awesome mass. Just a big old Manitoba buck. Mature buck, that is for sure. Oh, I couldn't be happier. Big old bodied deer. He's gonna taste good. Gotta thank Harvest Lodge again. They have just been a great place to come. They have fantastic food. They know this country better than me, that's for sure. No shortage of deer. Nice buck. Wow.
So yeah, Harvest Lodge, we're kind of a smaller operation, so it's run by my wife and myself. Carissa takes care of all the cooking, so we do family style meals. We all get together, we all have an opportunity to share about our day. We usually just have 1 to maybe 2 groups in camp at a time. We are a smaller operation, so like each group would have their own cabin, their own space. Works really nice for families. We really pride ourselves on being more of a family operations. We just enjoy taking people out. So we're excited about the spots. We can't wait to hear what you've seen every day. And we're hoping you get, you know, the best deer that you can, but mostly we hope you have a great time. And maybe we make some memories that will last you your lifetime.
Part of the excitement for me is that, you know, these windows can be kind of tight in the sense that you see a deer, you're like, oh, that's a good deer. You know, you don't get a chance to count points. You don't get a chance to, you know, really size up a deer, because if you wait too long, that deer might be gone out of your life forever. And so, yeah, we were sitting there all day, you know, and we've probably been sitting there for 3 or 4 hours, 4.5 hours, I think, to be exact. Hadn't seen a deer all day, and look up and there's a deer walking into the shooting lane, just walking right down the trail. You know, and then trying to, you know, get the rifle up on the sticks, you know, shoot without the deer, you know, hearing anything, you know, trying to be deliberate, trying to be quiet, trying to make a good shot. A lot of excitement in a hurry. Wow. I just looked up and I just saw that buck just step out. It's always good when you can see him drop. What a hunt. Chris got an awesome buck yesterday. This is a great buck. All day sits, but if you have the patience, this can pay off. This is a pretty special deal up here. And there's just no hunters out here. That's the whole deal, is, you know, these deer can live long enough, they can get old. That's the whole key.
special, special part of the world. Yeah, it looks like a great buck, and basically we're just set up where a couple of trails meet, and got a couple of shooting lanes. I mean, it's tight. I felt like I was shooting between a couple of trees this far apart. But yeah, let's go look at this deer. This is an awesome buck. Oh my goodness. Great buck. Wow. Just love the mass and just how dark these antlers get. Just look at that. Just big deer. My goodness. And you know, Alberta gets a lot of attention. Saskatchewan gets a lot of attention for whitetails, but Manitoba flies under the radar. And I think the reason being is that you can't bait in Manitoba, but you know, if you hunt deer a lot, I mean, when you're hunting during the rut, during rifle season, it's not like these deer are interested in bait. You know, you're better off on trails, scrape lines. You might see fewer deer, but you're going to see the right deer. Manitoba grows some big bucks and continues to impress. We've shot some great deer up here. There's just so much area and just so few people. That's the whole deal. Deer have to get old enough to get character and antlers like this. This is just a great Manitoba swamp buck right here. Wow, look at that. You know, a big part of hunting is the game that you see, the opportunity to harvest an animal or seeing an animal. And then after that, you know, there's other things that, you know, you can say are as important or more important. You know, the camaraderie, the people that you're with, the food. And this is how you end a great week of hunting. Backstrap off the grill. Harvest Lodge, northern Manitoba. It's been a tremendous week. 2 big bucks down, and in my mind, I keep reminding myself or telling myself all week long, this is how deer hunting should be. You're out in big woods. You never know what's going to step in front of you, and have the success we've had this week has just been incredible.